Hi guys, I hope you all are doing well and welcome to the next video of this entire series of Exchange Server 2019. In the last video, we talked about Edge Transport Server. We discussed what is Edge Transport Server, what are the benefits provided by Edge Transport Server, and we discussed the prerequisites for Edge Server installation. In this particular video, we will meet all these prerequisites one by one. We will install and configure Edge Transport Server, and then we will test and analyze the external inbound and outbound email flow. So this is the machine where we are going to install Edge Transport Server, and I'm logged in with local administrator account. First, we need to open the required ports on Edge Server and the domain controller. On Edge Server, we will open three ports, port 25 that will be used for email flow, port 389 and 50636 that will be used for synchronization of the configuration information and recipient information from Active Directory to the Edge server. So let's go to advanced settings. We need to create rules under inbound rules and outbound rules. So let's create these rules. First, we will open port 25. Select port, go next, select 25 or type 25, go next, and here give it a name. Click finish. Let's create a rule for port 389. Make sure allow the connection is selected and all these three options are checked as well. Same way, we will create one more inbound rule for port 50636. Allow the connection, give it a name, finish. So we have created inbound rules. Same way, we will create outbound rules for the same port numbers. So I have created three outbound rules for these three port numbers. Now let's go to domain controller. And in domain controller as well, we need to open two port numbers, 389 and 50636. Same way, we will create two rules under inbound rules and outbound rules. Select port, type port number, allow the connection, next, give it a name. Now let's create outbound rules. So we have opened 389 and port 50636 on domain controller. Let's close firewall and let's go back to Edge server. The next thing is we need to install the required components on Edge server. If you want to check the prerequisites for Edge server installation, you can go to Microsoft article that is prerequisites for Exchange Server 2019. Go to this article and scroll down this article to this Exchange 2019 Edge Transport Servers on Windows Server 2019. So first we will install .NET Framework. Accept the license terms and click install. So .NET Framework is installed. Next, we will install Visual C++ package. Click download and download 64-bit version. Click next. And let's install this file. Click close. Next, we will install Active Directory Lightweight Directory Services on this machine. There are two ways you can install Active Directory Lightweight Directory Services on Windows Server. Either you can do it from PowerShell or you can do it from Server Manager as well. So let me show you from PowerShell. In PowerShell, you will run install-windows feature ADLDS. Hit enter. And this command will install Active Directory Lightweight Directory Services on this particular machine. The other way to do this is you can go to Server Manager, click Add Roles and Features, click Next, Next, and Next. Under Select Server Roles, you can select Active Directory Lightweight Directory Services role. Check this option and then follow the instructions. We have already installed it from PowerShell, so that is the reason this particular role is showing checked. So we have installed this component as well. Now we need to restart the machine. So the next step that we need to follow is we need to assign static IP addresses to this machine. Let's go to command prompt, ipconfig. So these are the IP addresses of this machine, and we will be assigning these IP addresses. That is 192.168.1.48. Preferred DNS server will be the domain controller. For domain controller, the IP address is 40. So here you will mention the IP address of the domain controller because this is the DNS server for my environment, and click OK and close this window. Now next, we need to assign DNS suffix for this machine. In the last video, we discussed that Edge server is not joined to the Active Directory domain. So we will not join this machine. This machine will remain a workgroup machine, but we will add domain suffix or the DNS suffix for this machine. So my Active Directory domain is office365concepts.com. I will add that domain here and click OK. Click OK again. And now this will ask you to restart the machine. So now let's go to domain controller. In domain controller, we need to create a record for Edge server so that any request that is coming from Edge server, it should be resolved by the DNS server. So go to domain controller and go to DNS manager. In DNS manager, go to forward lookup zone and click on your Active Directory domain. Here we will create a record, and this a record will be for the host name of your Edge machine or Edge server. You can check the host name from properties. This is the host name or the computer name. So here you can see this machine is a workgroup machine, and the full computer name or the fully qualified domain name is edge.office365concepts.com. So we haven't joined this machine to our domain controller. You can check host name from command prompt as well. In command prompt, type host name, and this will show you the host name of that particular machine. Go back to domain controller, type the host name here, And here we will type the IP address of the edge server, which is 192.168.1.48. Click add host, and this A record is created. Next, we need to make sure that domain controller and mailbox servers are able to ping edge server host name and the fully qualified domain name. Same way, edge server should be able to ping domain controller and exchange server fully qualified domain name or the host name. So let's try from domain controller first. Let's go to command prompt and let's try to ping host name of the edge server. And I'm not able to ping edge server. So let's check the firewall. In firewall, you need to enable two rules. These rules are for ICMP, this one and this one. So right click, enable rule, and enable these two rules in outbound as well. That's it. Let's go back to domain controller, and now let's try to ping edge server. So I'm able to ping, and this is the IP address of the edge server. Now let's try to ping fully qualified domain name of edge server. And I can ping fully qualified domain name as well. Now let's go to Exchange server. Let's try to ping edge. We can ping this. Now let's try to ping fully qualified domain name, that is Office 365 concepts.com. And we can ping from here as well. Let's go to edge server now. Now let's try to ping Exchange server from edge server. We are getting the response. So this is working. Let's ping domain controller. We are able to ping domain controller as well. Now the next thing that we need to do is we will do port forwarding on router. We will open port 25 on router and we will forward the traffic over port 25 to the edge server so that edge server can receive and can send emails over port 25 to the internet. So let me log into the router. So as of now, this port 25 is opened on my Exchange server. The internal IP of Exchange server is 39. I'm going to delete this rule and I'll create a new rule to forward the traffic on edge server. So we will open only port 25 on the edge server. So the edge server IP address is 48 and click apply. So port 25 is opened. Now let's go back to edge server. So now we have met all the prerequisites. Now we will mount the ISO file of Exchange server and we will install edge server. Click on setup. Under check for updates, you can click next to check if any update is available for this cumulative update. As of now, no update is found, so let's go next. On introduction page, click next, accept the license agreement, go next, select use recommended settings, next. On server role selection, you will select edge transport role. Now here you can see if I select edge transport role, mailbox role is grayed out. So that means we cannot install mailbox role and edge transport role on the same machine. Select the option that says automatically install Windows Server roles and features that are required to install Exchange Server and click next. Here you can select the location for the installation files and then go next. Now this wizard will check the prerequisites. If any prerequisite is not met, it will throw you an error and you can proceed accordingly. So all the prerequisites are passed. Now click install. So this installation process contains 9 steps. So this will take time around 30 minutes or it can take 40 minutes as well. So the setup is completed. Click finish. And now let's restart the server. In Edge Transport Server, we do not have Exchange Admin Center. If you want to manage anything in Edge Server, you need to do it from Exchange Management Shell. Once you have installed Edge Server, after that you can run test-service health to check the service health of the Edge server. So under service running, you can see all the services are running and services not running parameter shows empty. So that means all the services are running fine. Now the next step that we need to perform is we need SSL certificate for Edge server. I will create SSL certificate from Let's Encrypt. While creating SSL certificate, you need to add your domain name and mail.domain.com in subject alternate name of that certificate. I have already demonstrated you how to install SSL certificate from Let's Encrypt, so I will skip this part for this video. So the SSL certificate is created from Let's Encrypt. Now we need to bind this certificate with SMTP service in Edge server. So let's go to Exchange Management Shell. Here we will run get-exchange certificate and we will look for subject, services, and thumbprint. So this is the certificate that we just created. As of now, this certificate is not binded to any service. And this is the thumbprint of this certificate. Copy the thumbprint and then we need to run enable hyphen exchange certificate hyphen thumbprint, paste the thumbprint and type services hyphen services and then type SMTP. We are going to bind this certificate with SMTP service. Press enter, press A, hit enter. So this certificate is binded with SMTP service now. So let's verify. So here you can see the SSL certificate is binded with SMTP. Next, we will create Edge subscription between Edge server and the mailbox server. When we create Edge subscription, it creates a secure and automatic replication of the information from Active Directory to Active Directory lightweight directory services that we installed on this particular server. Edge subscription is a two-step process. First, we create an XML file that includes the information about your Edge server, and then we bind that information with the mailbox server. So first, let's create XML file. We will run new hyphen Edge subscription hyphen file name. And here we will give a path where we want to store this XML file. For example, C drive, name of the file, and XML extension. Press enter, type A and hit enter. So this Edge file or Edge XML file is created. Now let's go to C drive. So this is the file. Let's open this file. In this file, you can see the host name of your Edge server. You can see the fully qualified domain name of the Edge server. You can see the certificate and you can see the version of Exchange server that you are running on this Edge server. So now we will copy this file and we will go to Exchange server. We will paste this file on mailbox server and then we will go to Exchange Management Shell. So now we will bind this XML file with mailbox server. In mailbox server, we will run this command, new hyphen edge subscription. We will give the path of the XML file And then we will use the site name where this mailbox server is installed. If you're not sure about the site name, you can run get-ad site and press enter. And this will show you the site name. There is another way to check the default site name. You can go to domain controller. In domain controller, go to sites and services. And in sites and services, you can see the default site name. Let's go back to mailbox server. So we will copy this command and run this command on mailbox server. Press enter. So the Edge subscription is created. Now let's start the Edge synchronization between Edge server and the mailbox server. And for that, we will run start-edge synchronization and press enter. So as of now, it says could not connect. Let's wait for a few seconds and then we will run this command again. So I ran the same command again, start-edge synchronization, and now result shows success. Now the next thing that we need to do is we will go to Edge server and we will run get-receive connector. This is the default internal receive connector on the Edge server that is responsible to receive emails from internet. By default, this receive connector has FQDN set to the fully qualified domain name of the Edge server. So if I run get-receive connector pipe FL and if I look for FQDN, it says edge.office365concepts.com. So we need to change this FQDN to mail.office365concepts.com because we have added an MX record for mail.office365concepts.com in public DNS. So we need to match the fully qualified domain name of receive connector with the MX record that is published on the public DNS. So for that, we will run set-receive connector -identity. And here we will type this name. And then we will type FQDN and we will use mail.office365concepts.com. Press enter. Let's verify the changes. Now it says mail.office365concepts.com. One last thing that we need to do is we will go to public DNS. As of now, the MX record for office365concepts.com domain is pointed to EOP. Because in one of the last videos, we integrated EOP with our on-premise Exchange server. So we will modify this MX record and we will point this to mail.office365concepts.com and save. So this record is created. Let's go to MX toolbox. And let's verify this record. This is still not published. Let's try again. Now this is published to mail.office365concepts.com. Now let's go to EXRCA or Remote Connectivity Analyzer and let's test the email flow. Perform test. So the inbound test is passed. That means we can receive the emails. Let's check the outbound test as well. We will use the public IP address of our Exchange server. And we will use one of the on-premise email address. Perform test. So the outbound test is also passed. That means we can send emails to the internet as well. Now let's test the inbound email flow from internet. So let's send one email to on-premise user. Let's send it to administrator, test email, and click send. Let's go to Exchange server. Let me log in with this user. So we have received the email. Now let's check the email header and I'll show you the hooks. So let me double click on this email and go to message details. Let me copy this header. Let's go to EXRC one more time. So here you can see this email was sent from Google server. From Google server, this email was received by the receive connector on the Edge server. This is the internal IP address of Edge server, ends with 48. And this is the fully qualified domain name of the receive connector on the Edge server. This email was sent over TLS 1.2 from Edge server. This is the fully qualified domain name of Edge server. From Edge server, this email was sent to the mailbox server. This is the internal IP address of the mailbox server. And then this email was delivered to the user mailbox. So this is how you can set up Edge Transport Server and you can route your external inbound and outbound email flow through Edge Transport Server. In the next video, we will talk about accepted domains. We will discuss how to add additional domains in your Exchange organization and how to configure those domains to receive emails from internet. So that is all for now. I will see you all in the next video. Thank you guys. Thank you for your time. Take care.